Well, lots of reaction today in Chicago to the Board of Ed's approval of the CPS budget.
A last-minute push to change minds worked. Some board members flipped their votes.
Political reporter Paris Schutz has the latest on the fallout.
Yeah, Terrence and Sylvia, this is one of those issues where you did not know what was going to happen until the final minute, and everybody was surprised at this outcome because it looked like the budget was on track for defeat. But today, civic leaders and lawmakers are praising the Board of Education for approving this budget, and when it had been on track to get rejected. But Chicago school children parents can breathe a sigh of relief now. The budget deadline is today. There will be no shutdown as a result. A majority of board members had initially opposed this budget because it didn't include short-term borrowing and a pension payment that the mayor and CTU pushed for. But heavy lobbying on both sides convinced a few of those members to flip and support the budget. And it'll instead rely on the mayor spending over $375 million in TIF revenue to plug that gap. Now, Civic Federation President Joe Ferguson says it's not a perfect outcome, but he believes Chicago residents can look at this situation as glass half full, especially since that borrowing was rejected.
People that the mayor appointed actually asked for the information, analyzed it, looked at it, understood the broader institutional and political context, and came to their own independent assessment of what the facts and the numbers actually were. And most importantly, they acted on it.
There were key mayoral allies like Ebony DeBerry on the board that flipped and supported the budget going against the mayor. Now, the Chicago Teachers Union closely allied with the mayor. They had lobbied board members not to approve the budget and to push for that loan and pension payment. Their reaction today, quote, the vote by the Board of Education to improve this imbalanced budget will cost Chicago public school students. They say it'll lead to mid-year cuts, even though CPS leaders have vowed that will not be the case. And Sylvia and Terrence, this is politically a major loss for the mayor. He's been stonewalled by his own allied board members and CPS president on this issue on the budget. Over and over and over again, board members allied with him have voted against what he has asked for.
Paris, you mentioned that the pension payment now gets pushed on to the city. So how is this going to impact the budget?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Sylvia, because the mayor's team did brief reporters and alders on the projected city budget. It's going to have a big deficit. No surprise there. What they're saying is about $1.14 billion, so it doesn't include that pension payment. Now you have to add in that, about $143 million worth, so it'll bring that deficit closer to $1.3 billion. Now today, the mayor and budget team admitted they have work to do, but the mayor wants some progressive revenue on the table.
The transaction tax in particular, you can see there's a clear opportunity to be able to generate, the necessary revenue from that. In fact, had we been able to move that, that would be, $100 million more into our budget. But again, there will be proposals that will come from alders, from community folks. I'm going to make some proposals as well. And again, the ultimate goal is to make sure that we don't lose ground on the, advancements that we've made.
So this starts the budget process for the city. The mayor will come out in October with his plan to close that, what could be a $1.3 billion gap when all is said and done.